Seems like Florida is absolutely getting hammered right now by the insurance company because I don't blame the insurance companies either. Florida, I'm serious, like Miami, every single year there's always some sort of crazy storm going on. And Florida residents are now fleeing the state as insurance premiums are skyrocketing up to 900%. And it's not just Florida, guys. Nationwide, many cities along the coast, we're seeing higher insurance premiums, but nothing as high as the Florida insurance premiums. And Florida is notorious for crazy high HOA fees, crazy high, insurance fees, and even some pretty crazy property taxes as well. I mean, just go to Miami, for example, right? Just look at some of the condos. I'll be real with you guys. Miami condos aren't even that expensive compared to places like Seattle, Manhattan, and Los Angeles. If you look at some of the units like this one, look at this. It's almost 1,000 square feet. I mean, you have incredible views. Your glass is literally curved. You have a curvy balcony. You live in a skyscraper, and it's selling for $860,000. You even get a free garage space, which is pretty lit. I mean, where do you get a unit of this caliber for $860,000? You can't. You simply can't. Only in Miami. This is such a luxurious unit. Like, even right now, I'm pretty shocked that you could live in downtown Miami, this really nice place in Brick Hill. You'll buy this condo with a wraparound balcony, insane amenities, right? Like I said before, a parking garage. If you go to Manhattan and you want a parking garage included, you got to buy it. And it's very, very expensive. And look at this, right? This is pure luxury at its finest. $860. And guess what? HOA is insane at $1,100. That is one of the highest HOA fees I've ever seen for a unit of this price. Okay, if you look at some of the insurances, it's very expensive. Home insurance, it's $300 every single month. Property tax, it's $600. HOA is $1,100. So just by that alone, you're paying $1,900. It's basically rent. And then add in the utilities, the internet, all that kind of stuff. Maybe just do it more conservatively, $2,200. Imagine paying $2,200 every single month if you buy this unit in cash. That is a very expensive unit. And now we're seeing many of the Florida guys all moving out. The insurance premiums in Florida is leading residents to drop their insurance. Consider selling the home or just move out of the state altogether. And as much as we'd like to say great things about Florida, now remember, Florida is still the place where it's getting a net positive increase of people, whereas places like California, population growth is pretty much stalled, with many places like San Francisco and Oakland and San Jose having population decreases. But if you look at Florida here, they lost over 250,000 people in 2022. So about 23,000 people leaving Florida every single month. But the net inflow is way, way higher. But the mere fact that you have over 200,000 people leaving Florida in 22 shows you that it's just getting more expensive to live here. The country's insurance premium, which are the highest in the country according to a recent study by, 111, it's one of the reasons Florida guys are just considering leaving the states. They just can't afford these really expensive insurances. And people are saying that they're paying more than $4,200 per year on insurance alone. The national average is only $1,700. That's a really crazy difference here. You're paying 3 times more than the average Joe in the US. And if you look at this, people with multi-million-dollar homes costing $600,000 a year just in insurance premiums. Then you got the crazy high property taxes. It's just not a great sign for Florida. And as much as we like to say great things about Florida real estate here on the channel, we can't deny the fact that prices in many of these Florida buildings are now slowly going down in price. All right. If you go to some of these places, these high-end places here, you have units now selling for a very cheap and very affordable price. People are getting a little bit freaked out with this whole scenario. If you check out some of these prices, wow. Look at this one. Okay, high-end unit, 1 bed, 1 bath, $550,000. Incredible views of the whole city, a free garage space, and look at this, $550,000 of just HOA, okay? And I'm sure property tax is not cheap either. Look at this, $400 of property tax for a unit that's only 570 square feet. Just think about that. That is not normal for a unit like this. And you have the crazy high property tax, insurance. It just eventually adds to crazy, and you're going to be paying so much money from this. And of course, we're also seeing even more stuff about the whole real estate situation here in the US, right? we're switching topics to many Wall Street investors are now beginning to sell their houses. This unit in Phoenix, according to Nick on Twitter, was bought by private equity fund in 2022 at the top of the real estate market. Now they're listing it at 11% off. And this isn't even like a very expensive home. If this was like a $3 to $4 million house, then the data would be pretty skewed. But this is essentially a house being sold to the middle class. And look at some of these discounts. They bought it for almost $400,000. Now they're selling for $350,000. That is an insane loss, and this is not normal. We're seeing many real estate investors just simply losing everything. And a lot of these investors just can't take the heat anymore. Everything's just getting more expensive. Interest rates are very high, and we're seeing less people buying houses. In fact, mortgage demand is super low. Probably 1995 numbers low. And that's just me saying it. CNBC and Bloomberg. And look at this. So you're saving money to buy a house. Well, good luck. Your dollar goes half as far as it did in the end of 2020. Simply because back in 2020 and 2021, you got super low interest rates. I mean, you could get a 15-year mortgage at 2.4, 2.5%. 30-year mortgage less than 4%. Now 30-year mortgage is hitting 8%. We're seeing people not even investing in real estate anymore. People who used to own a bunch of real estate properties now see these properties as junk properties. They can't sell them. They're getting cheaper every day. And now with treasuries and bonds and CDs yielding at insane rates, why would you even buy real estate? Why would you buy a bunch of houses to invest in when you could just put all that money into a CD, 10 to 12 months, let it mature, get some money out? It's such a juicy way to make money. And look at this. Mortgage rates reach 8%. They first since 2000. If you look at this, you got a massive surge in the 10-year treasury yields this week. And the interest rates on 30-year mortgages are averaging 8% for the first time since 2000. You also have this new war going on. It's no longer Russia and Ukraine. It's Israel and Hamas. We got even more crazy stuff happening. Oil prices are up. Look at this. Other factors are spurring the 10-year treasury benchmarks for 30-year mortgages towards 5% as of Thursday. Mortgage rates are super duper high. And the 10-year treasury yields, hey man, why would you invest in real estate when you just invest in that, right? So we're seeing this everywhere. Real estate is becoming more and more doo-doo every single day. I mean, there's a lot of really incredible units in places like Miami, for example. But because people are saying the fees are just getting so much more expensive, they simply just can't afford it. I mean, look at this one. It's very nice. It's a good unit built in 2004. It's also a skyscraper in Brick L. I mean, this isn't even that expensive a unit for what you're getting. Over 1,100 square feet. 1,100 square feet, okay? You got $569,000. You got a gym, a crazy amount of amenities, and look at this. The reason why it's selling for so cheap, oh, there it is. Property tax $400, home insurance $200, $1,000 of HOA. You're basically paying rent after you pay the whole entire unit off. And this is happening everywhere in places like, Miami. And don't even get me started with some of these super high-end penthouses. I mean, $21,000 a month in HOA. And then look at this. Property taxes, $41,000. Home insurance, $20,000. HOA fees, another $20,000. You're basically paying $82,000 every single month after you pay off this unit, which equates to $1 million a year. That's insane. No wonder people are not buying any of these units because you're paying $1 million a year just to pretty much have this property. And you pretty much pay what you paid for the unit in 59 years. This doesn't make any sense. It's getting more expensive. Florida residents are pretty sick of it. And we're going to be seeing more of these HOA fees increasing as well in many cities in the U.S. We're seeing a pretty big real estate disaster happening. And things are only going to get worse.